Hey guys, welcome back to Recovery in Real Estate, and I'm your host, Abe Slocum. I have a good friend on today, my buddy Kolby Smythe from Leesville. He hails from Leesville, Louisiana, a little small town. I think that's in central Louisiana, but we'll probably get to that here in this episode, guys. Please forgive him. He is a big Alabama fan. We'll talk a little bit about that. He's super pumped to be on the podcast. He's talking about maybe leaving his job to, take this up as a profession. I don't know what his wife will say, but hey, man, it's got a dream, bro. Kolby, welcome on, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Every time somebody says was it in Central? I always have to go to the never eat soggy waffles, and so it was Northwest. That's that Leesville education. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's what I'm on. I troll uncensored in Leesville page on Facebook.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I love it. Like, people always post crazy stuff, and I love trolling those little small town places, man.
Yeah, it's like 75% my cousins on that thing. so yeah, man, yeah.
So Kolby, man, welcome to the show. This show's recovery in real estate, so it's kind of we're going to talk a little bit about recovery, life, what was life like before and what life is like now. You're a homeowner, you bought a house, I was your agent, kind of tie that stuff into as well. But yeah, man, we've been friends for a couple years, and you bought a house, like a year, 2 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's coming up on 2 years now.
Yeah, and you're one of the homeowners that you're like today you were in the yard, huh?
I was getting soaked. Yeah, yeah. I've taken a passion about it. Like yesterday, a big thing happened. I bought rocking chairs.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
We were debating, like the difference between ponderosa pine and pecan. So like that's what happens when you become a homeowner. You start to care about stuff you thought sucked.
Yeah, that's important stuff. Yeah, we have a front porch now, and I'm talking with Rachel, and I was like, man, we got to get some good, some good, front porch furniture to chill and, people watch and things like that.
Yeah, the neighborhood watch, man.
Yeah.
Front line.
Yeah, meet all the neighbors, man. Depending on what neighborhood you're in, sometimes you don't even need cable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just watch the neighbors and what they're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you've been, so like you said, you do a lot of DIY projects at the house, and you've changed your hot water heater.
Yeah, with the help of a friend, and it only took me 3 hours to change my doorknob out a few weeks ago, so I was pretty proud of that. I had a good friend on the phone with me as well, so moral support, but yeah, I do, man. I really, I love doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's always fun.
I am not the hands-on person at all, so like Rachel likes to do that, and I'm like, hey, do your thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to moving over the next month. The goal is to be in the house by April 1st. And I'm like, today I was just like walking around the house, like looking at all the furniture and stuff. And I'm like, man, like I'm just ready to, can we just buy new stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like just
furnace.
Yeah, just get rid of all this stuff, man. Cause it's like you realize how much stuff you have whenever it's time to
move. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Every time you move, you get more and more things, and more. Yeah, it just never ends, man. So, but yeah.
So Kolby, man, you've been in Baton Rouge. How long you been in Baton Rouge?
About, I guess, around 7.5 years.
7.5 years. How long you been sober?
Well, actually, let's say the 4th. Today's the
4th, yeah, March.
Actually, 3 days from now, I get 8 years.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah.
You got to make it 72 hours.
Yeah, dude. Fingers crossed.
You got a liquor store right across. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right down the street.
I'll take it into consideration.
Yeah, bro. We got the podcast going, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's a party, bro. I made it.
Yeah, you made it. You good, bro?
Yeah.
That's awesome. 8 years. That's a long time.
Yeah, man. It beats my previous high score of 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many attempts did it take prior to getting sober this time, how many attempts did it take?
Um, I mean, countless, man. I mean, I know I went to 10 inpatient, you know what I mean? So, and then countless other, attempts as well, to whatever that looked like. But a whole lot for about 5 years, I would say. Yeah. 18 to 23. Yeah.
So how old are you?
31.
So you got sober. I mean, I would say you got sober young,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is more of a common thing these days, with everything. I guess the game has kind of changed. There's alcohol, and then you have your other substances, harder drugs, things like that. But kids today are. It's almost like they don't have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because like when we were growing up, or when you were coming up, when I was coming up, you had your traditional drugs and things weren't laced with fentanyl and things like that. Like kids today, dude, it's like they go to take an Adderall or like a Percocet or a Lartab and it's over with.
Yeah.
And it's non-drug addicts are dying
Yeah.
from drugs.
Yeah. And I think, I dodged a good bit of that. I think I got sober right on time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Because I know on the back end of everything, like I was running into some problems. You know what I mean? Like, well, I was always running into problems. But,
Yeah.
as far as the fentanyl goes, you know what I mean? Finding that around in more things than normal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And being from a small town in Louisiana, like,
yeah,
I mean, fentanyl's everywhere now, but like it gets there at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like being in New Orleans
right.
or being in like Philly or, Houston, where small towns, it's, the drugs are there,
Mm-hmm.
but the newer drugs are going to find their way.
Yeah, and really, I wasn't really in Leesville for the last 3-4 years. Really, I mean, I was kind of. I always said I did the treatment tour. I
Yeah.
was in Austin, and I spent some time in Knoxville, and then in Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Where my family's from.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Austin's a big, I consider Baton Rouge, I call Baton Rouge like a sober hub.
Yeah.
Because there's so many treatment centers here, and there's so many sober living houses and stuff like that. And you do have people from most of the time all over Louisiana. Like Monroe people come here to get sober. Monroe people go to Baton Rouge, Baton Rouge people go to Monroe to get sober. But Austin's a big recovery hub too. Like there's a lot of commercial treatment centers, like Blue Cross Blue Shield, nicer treatment centers to go to. Did you go to treatment out there? Like, so you've been to treatment at some nice places and some not so nice places.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I went. They've asked me what I wanted for breakfast before. You know what I mean? Like I remember that situation. Waking up probably about 2 days late. And it's like, what would you like for breakfast? What's on the menu? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've been to places like that, and
Get a Colt 45.
right? Yeah, anything but that. They went to Trader Joe's, man. I thought that was huge. I'd never had Trader Joe's.
Yeah, that's fancy stuff.
I know, man. I know. And then and I've been to where that you. I mean, it was just like the VCR was like, like you had to fight over what to put in the VCR. So yeah, I've been to both sides of it. You know,
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess you can take stuff from both areas. Sometimes people hit their bottom or get sober in different places, and it's like sometimes I worked at a facility that's no longer open, and it was I would get calls and it would be somebody's mom and the kid's coming to treatment for the first time, and I'm like, hey baby, I'm like, look, you guys got like a $10,000 deductible. I'm like, this ain't the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he continues in about 10 years, he'll be coming here, and you won't have Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, just different strokes for different folks, man. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, I always say like the first time I went, I can remember my my grandfather and my dad saying, like, I mean, and I'm crying, right? And he's like, well, how do you eat an elephant? He's like, one bite at a time. That was like, and that's something that I still, think about today, right? But like, I had like a suitcase that time, right? Like 2 pairs of shoes, you know what I mean? Walking in there, like I was set toothpaste,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah.
And the last one I went into, I like had a trash bag, you know what I mean? And like had to borrow underwear for the next day,
Yeah,
and I'm not lying,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I
That's
mean? Like,
awesome.
so like that was a progression, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I yeah, no, I just kept on showing up worse and worse, you know? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they say. It gets worse and worse. Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
the good old guard, like talking about moving, and I mean, I moved out of Oxford House into the house with Rachel, and pretty sure I moved with some garbage bags. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
Like,
hefty or like
yeah,
Dollar General?
no, I borrowed them from her, so they were hefty. They were
Yeah.
they were
Thanks,
good.
babe. Appreciate it.
Yo, let me throw this in your trunk.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
but yeah, no, yeah, the progression of like you said, suitcase to garbage bags to
Yeah.
where like deodorant and toothpaste is like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
got degree, you know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
I can get a swipe of that.
Right.
So what happened? What made you say, okay, I'm tired, I'm done, or what did a certain event, or just you were checked out, or
Yeah, I think the last time I went in, there wasn't much that was different. I mean, I've been desperate a long time, you know what I mean? But I think that two things need to happen. I think that I need to be desperate, which I always had that, at least for the last 2 years, but I also have to have the right teacher, you know what I mean? And so, like, those things just happened to line up at that time. And I followed suggestions, you know what I mean? I was willing to listen for the first time, you know what I mean? And I fell in with the right group of guys, and that's really what I tell people, because I mean, yeah, like you said, there's just multiple accounts of failure. So
yeah,
if people want to talk about failure, I can talk about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm real good at that. So yeah,
Yeah, no, I definitely think they have cliche sayings and stuff like stick with the winners, or you want to hang out with 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth, or go to the barbershop, you'll be the next one to get your hair cut. Like it's all about who you surround yourself with,
yeah,
right? Like, and it's I was I was actually thinking about that on the way over here when I was driving, and it was like I gotta put myself around like-minded people, and then I also gotta put myself around people who I kind of look up to a little bit, and like I want to be like, and to where like in the business world where I'm like, man, this guy's crushing it. Like, what's he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to get in this guy's world, this person's world, and sit down and kind of, how do I step my game up, right? Because I always think that in life we kind of peak, where we get sober, we get a house, and then we got a good job, you get the wife, the girl, and it's like, and then you're like, now what? And sometimes we can sit in that. It's not a bad place to be, but it's kind of, we sit in that, like the twilight zone for a little while of what's next, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes we got to keep growing,
Mhm. Yeah,
so.
yep. Always gotta keep growing. I guess I just need new friends.
Yeah, if you're watching, I know.
No, yeah. No, I mean, I agree. You plateau and everything, but doing different experiences. You know what I mean? Like doing things I'm uncomfortable with. Like the past weekend and everything.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
It always helps me to continue to grow and meet new people and new perspectives. Things like
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, that definitely puts a new perspective on things. Definitely puts a new, like, in.
Yeah, yeah,
It's also like a good reminder. When you get a group of people together and all different stages and walks of life, and it's like I can look back and say I was riding my bike to work too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was taking the bus to work too, and it's a little different today.
yeah.
But you can be that beacon of hope for them, because I know when I was riding the bike or taking the bus, I wasn't thinking about being a homeowner
No.
or a driver's license. Like,
Mm,
paying rent and like having car insurance and a vehicle and all that stuff was like mind blowing to me.
yeah.
I was like, wait, you're like, you have car insurance? Like, and you have like, you bought a vehicle?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and you pay rent? Like,
So it brings to mind my first experience buying a vehicle with my buddy.
yeah.
He, it's like buy the car and everything like that, and I didn't take into consideration, insurance, right? It's like, oh yeah, and by the way, before you leave here, you have to get car insurance, and I like had forgot that was a thing. You know what I mean? I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
it's like that's gonna be a lot more money. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I never had insurance before on
Yeah.
my own. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, and talking about the bike, man, like riding. When I first started, I worked at a fast food restaurant. You know what I mean? And that was a great deal. But anyways, my bike didn't have brakes. You know what I mean? And it was like real rusty. So like I flipped over the curb, getting to work. And everybody was like 4:30 in the morning, and like people were in their cars waiting. You know what I mean? And everybody saw me flip over. Like, you good? Like, no, I'm good. Let's go. Like,
let's go with the number one or number two.
Right, exactly. So, and then I called my dad on the way home, like just to talk to him. Like, what's going on, Pops? Like, he's like, what is that noise, man? I was like, dude, it's my ride. But yeah, man, the owner of that establishment ended up giving me a bike lock. When I a few weeks or maybe months after I worked there, dude, that meant a lot. It's like, I don't know who would want to steal this bike that was squeaky and had no brakes, but bro, they're not getting it.
Yeah. No, for real. Yeah, that's awesome, man. The small things, especially in early recovery, that are like, stuff you don't even think about today. And you're like, this is such a blessing, man. I got a bike lock.
Yeah.
And you're telling your dad or your mom, and they're like, man, you all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you good?
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then, that bike ended up getting stolen, but wise words of a friend, she said, oh, it's all going to be all right. You know what I mean? I'll never remember, we still mess with her to this day, right?
Yeah.
She's like, it's going to all be all right. I was like, no, it's not going to be okay. That's my ride.
Yeah.
Someone stole your car. You would think it's just all going to be okay. But anyways, I ended up getting a bike the next day from people at the place. You know what I mean? That we were at. So it all works out, man.
It does all work out.
Yeah.
It does all work out. Sometimes it's hard to put that perspective into your mind, especially early on, where it's like everything is a catastrophe.
A fire.
Yeah, you're like, man. So you go to all these treatment centers, man. You said several attempts, and then you get sober, working at a fast food place, riding a bike.
Mm-hmm.
Life kind of starts to progress. When did how many years into sobriety was it where I guess like life would take on a whole new meaning? Because I know for me, like the first year and a half, I was sober,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't like, I was still a little suspect of how are things going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was starting to reconnect with family and things. So like, very early on, 6 months, I was very active in trying to do the things I was supposed to do, right? And so like, that definitely gave me hope. But, I was actually in a halfway house until I was 11 months sober. And then I went into sober living, you know what I mean? And like, the water didn't turn all the way off. And I just felt like that wasn't right. You know what I mean? So I ended up spending like 2 months there, and I ended up moving in with some people from where I was working at the fast food place,
Uh-huh.
and then I met Gracie,
Yep.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I told her I had 18 months sober, but I think I had like 14 months sober. So I started off the relationship with an amends, like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And so anyways, man, like, I mean, and really like life just took off from there. You know what I mean? Like, she's not one of us. And so the first date, like, went to the Rouses and got, like, I was like, what kind of wine do you like? She doesn't really drink wine. But
Yeah.
I think she was just trying to appease me.
Yeah.
So I go in there, get whatever, and a bunch of Diet Coke. She drank all the Diet Coke and not the wine. So anyways, man, like that's how it all kind of shook out. I just worked, and we just, like, we didn't make much money, but that was a good life right then, man. We were living with 6 people in a 3-bedroom apartment, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, she was graduating college, and yeah, it was good, man. It was good. So that's kind of when things started to really, kind of take off, So
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
good. I didn't know that story. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Six,
Yeah.
6 people in a 3-bedroom apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's some stories there too. So
Oh yeah.
roommates are roommates can always it's always a good time. It can also be tough.
One story, man. I had a I had a roommate. Anyways, we were in there and like I go in my bathroom, I turn my light on. I'm like, why is there no light? There's like I was like, oh, my light must be out. But I look up, it's like there's no light in there. And so like I'm like go around, I'm like, did anybody take my light? My roommate was like, oh yeah, I took it. Mine was out. And I was like, oh okay. Like,
Yeah,
mine was up for grabs. Yeah.
yeah. You can get that. You can.
Yeah,
I'll just
but yeah, plenty of stories.
let
Yeah.
me pee on the floor.
I do it anyways.
Yeah. So you and Gracie have been married for how long?
Oh, dude, don't quiz me. Let's see.
All these dates.
Okay, yeah, right. I know. I think coming up on 3 years. God, if I'm wrong, I'm so in trouble. But I think it's coming up on.
She's
3
not
years.
going to be watching the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know
she's
what
like,
I'm
this is
saying?
boring, babe.
First 3 minutes, she's like, I'm back to scrolling.
I
I'm
watched
good.
the whole thing, babe. It was so good. Yeah, we've been married for 3 years. Coming up on 3 years. Yeah.
So you guys got married and then bought the house, huh? Or
Pretty
no?
quickly,
Yeah.
I mean, pretty quickly afterwards. I think we had been married like somewhere around a year. We were staying in an apartment because we ended up moving out of that place with the 6 people and got our own place in Gonzales because it was right by work.
Yeah.
And then I switched jobs shortly after, so it just made the drive longer. But yeah. So we were there for about. I mean, it was a while we were there, but we had moved in together before we got married for a while.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys, if I remember correctly, you guys bought the house. It was like a pretty quick process. It was like,
Oh yeah.
I think you had hit me up and you were like, hey, I'm interested. I think your buddy Mike was like, man, give Abe a call. Your lease was coming up or something like that.
It was not coming up.
Okay.
Well, we were sitting on the porch. He's like, man, you should be able to buy a house. And I'm like, you think? He's like, yeah. He's like, call Abe. I'm like, okay. And I called you and like 5 days later, like we were like in contract.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's not an exaggeration, dude. We looked at what, 2 houses maybe?
I think it was like 2 or 3. And like
Yeah.
one of them was like really like, it was like it wasn't a crappy house, but it needed a lot of work.
Yeah. Yep.
It's kinda
And
dark
The
and-
backyard
yeah.
was like all crazy. And yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh gosh, is this what we're gonna be able to afford? But then like we moved in. We went from Prairieville to Baton Rouge. Right around the line there, and like I remember the day
St.
that we saw
George
it.
now. St.
St. George, yeah.
Property value going up.
That's right. I mean, I hope.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. But anyways, the first time we saw the house, man, like we both looked at each other and were like, "This is it." Like,
Oh, yeah.
it was like a movie moment.
Yeah,
It
no,
was cool.
I remember that. And
Yeah.
it's always cool when friends, clients look at, some people are like, they look at 1 or 2 houses and they're like, man, we love it, but we know we've only looked at like 1 or 2 houses and like, I don't think we should write an offer on it because like we need to look at more. Like,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, well, why? I'm like, and they have the gut feeling and stuff, but they're like, it's just not a good idea to like write a contract on a house, the first house you see. I'm like, we can look at some more. 9 out of 10 times we look at more and then they go back to that one. But yeah, you guys were one of those. I think, like I said, yeah, I remember showing you that house. I had Lincoln and Ruthie with me.
Yeah. So that day or whatever, we're gonna go look at like a few houses, but we looked at that house, we loved it, and then we were gonna go look at another house, and we got there, and Lincoln was like had a stick,
Yeah.
and he was running around the thing,
Yeah.
and we were talking numbers. It was great, man. It's like something I'll never forget, But we put an offer in on the house while we were looking at the second house, inside the second house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember. Yeah, Rachel was at work, and the good old days of taking 2 kids to showings. There's
It
nothing
was
like
great.
it's like you're pulling away, and my kid got a Spider-Man toy in the back. I'm like, where you got that? And he's like, that kid had my Spider-Man. I'm like, no. Like go and put this Spider-Man back in the mailbox with a note, like, hey, I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that made it like entertaining, you know what I mean? Because it's like it feels like a really serious process sometimes, because there's so much money, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
That much money. I'm like, I'll never have that much money, you know what I mean?
No.
And so anyways, like, just the kids running around and you being like, just talking about it, telling Lincoln to stop,
Yeah.
whatever was all, it's just like, and we talk about it today, like, you remember that? And Gracie be like, yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I know with the home buying process, I try to, I'm a jokester, you know what I'm saying? I like to joke around, and sometimes I have to read the client, because I might tell a joke and they're like that's not funny. I'm like, oh, you didn't laugh, like
It's not that it's not funny. It's just like you're not funny.
yeah, man. So it's definitely, but like, I mean, I just try to. It's a huge ordeal,
Yeah.
right? And there's enough stress involved with all of it
Yeah.
to where it's like, kind of like your friends there, like it's all gonna work out,
That's right.
And I try to adapt that attitude, and most of the time it works for me.
Yeah, and it did, man. Like, we put the offer in, and like we stressed for no reason for the whole time, through inspection and all that, and but it all came back all right, man. And we got the clear to close, in the middle of the ocean because we were on a cruise.
That's right.
Yeah, I talked to Kristen. It probably cost me $7 a minute, but like we called her and she's like, "This is the first time." Yeah,
I think I remember her being like, "Stop calling me." You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's like, "Be on vacation."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, but I want a place to come home to, right?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but yeah, that she said that was the first time because I was probably about 250 miles offshore on a cruise boat. But we got the clear to close there, man. It was a memorable moment, Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Kristen's good people. She's worked, man, a handful of my deals.
Yeah.
Rachel and I were talking about that when we left the closing yesterday, and she's like, I finally get to meet the lady who's in all these pictures with you. I'm like, yeah, that's Kristen. So Kristen's a miracle worker.
Yeah.
When it comes to stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So, man, tell me what today, now you're married, homeowner.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your day-to-day. You work in the banking world.
Right.
And so just tell me what your day-to-day is like today.
Yeah, man. I mean, Gracie's a core reporter, so she does a lot from home, going to jobs, et cetera, and I'm in the banking industry. So something I thought that would never happen.
Yeah.
It's like somebody told me that 7, 8 years ago, I'd probably laughed at them. You know what I mean? Like I've never had a bank account. Yeah. But, and I remember the first time, like they were like, "All right, man, like it's time to come." I got the job and everything, and like, all right, come behind the counter. And I was like, "You sure?" I never forget that. But yeah, man, day to day is
that's awesome.
yeah. I was like, and open the safe. It's like. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, right, yeah. But anyways, man, like, I mean, going to work, you know what I mean? Like, coming home, we got 2 dogs right now, and she's got 2 cats. I'll specify that. Yeah, we have 2 dogs. She has 2 cats. And just taking care of the house, man. Like growing with Gracie, you know what I mean? And trying to grow professionally as well, but yeah, man, life is. I mean, I couldn't have told you it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
That this is where I would be. I mean, I don't think I could have orchestrated this if I wanted to. You know what I mean? If they told Kolby at 2 months, sober, or, when he first got in or whatever, detoxing, like, hey man, like here in a few years, you're gonna want to try to be a banker. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Am I
yeah,
hallucinating?
right. Exactly. But yeah, so, it's a pretty awesome deal, man. Like, I'm definitely blessed, and all part to family, you know what I mean? People like you, friends, and different industries that have helped me out along the way, you know what I mean? And then just being friends,
Yeah, man. Shout out to your mom, Cheryl. If you're watching, Kolby's one of the people who, you have referred people to me.
Absolutely.
One of your old roommates,
Yep.
and then your mom, and we closed on the house back in October.
Right.
And spent a lot of time on the phone with her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's a cool woman, man. Cool woman. She, talk to her all hours of the day, so.
Yeah. No, I know her.
Yeah.
love you, Mom.
My wife's got to know her, you know what I'm saying? So my kids, she's on speaker,
That's
it's like,
that's right.
So yeah, man.
No. I've talked to her a few times, and yeah. I have, man. I try to refer as much business to friends as I can, especially when they do a good job, and that's what's important, man. Make you feel like they know what they're doing, and you feel comfortable and with the process,
Yeah, for sure, man. I do appreciate that, and I always appreciate good conversation, and honestly, your mom was, like she's a fun person to talk to.
Mhm.
It's never a dull moment.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? I know she, obviously she's proud of what you're doing and what you've accomplished and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
there's a possibility that she moves closer and gets to be
Part of everything.
part of everything
Yeah. No, it was me and my mom growing up. My mom and dad separated, and so like my dad was in Alabama, mom was in Leesville, so I go back and forth. That's the reason I'm
in
Alabama fan.
There we
Roll
go.
Tide.
There we go.
Anyways, my mom was very much a part of the destruction, and she was very much a part of the recovery.
Yeah.
Like there's not. I mean, I couldn't say enough about what she's done for me,
Yeah.
and how much she's played into it. You know what I mean? And I mean, so yeah. If there's anybody that's seen she was on the front line. She was on the front line.
Yeah. She got to see all all the bad and the good.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Moms are special.
That's right.
So, man, we're getting ready to wrap things up, and I usually ask the question, like if somebody was watching, and you kind of touched on it earlier, saying, if somebody would have told me in a couple years you're gonna have this job and this life, you would have laughed at them,
Mhm.
So, but if somebody was watching and out there that's struggling, just a little pep talk from Kolby,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
a little inspiration.
Yeah. You got it, buddy. No.
Yeah. Keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I think through all the times that seemed like bleak, you know what I mean, and like that things weren't going to work out, they do. You know what I mean? As long as I put my trust in God, rely on the people that He's put around me, that never has failed me. You know what I mean? Like it's when I give up that things start to go bad. You know what I mean? I just keep coming back and doing what I feel like the next right thing is, and things seem to work out. There's been many times throughout the last 8 years that things like I've been crying in my bed, right? What's going to happen next? You know what I mean? Like there's been many times that we've laughed and don't know how it's going to get any better, but I have to be able to get through both, you know. So
For sure, man. For sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time
Yeah.
out of your day off
Yeah.
and missing yard work to come out here and sit down with me.
Yeah, I gotta go pull some bushes out now, so
Yeah, man.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you never know, bro. Joe Rogan, somebody might be calling, Theo Vaughn, somebody
right. Yeah,
to
yeah,
get you next on the podcast, bro, and
Yeah.
quit your job and just go on tour.
Well, I guess I'd do it. I mean, it's going down from this podcast, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
consider it,
There we go, man.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on, Abe. I appreciate it, man.
All right, Kolby.